viewers, this week we're up north in southeast Queensland. We're exploring tracks around the Stanthorpe area, heading into some national parks and looking for some rocky terrain. Along for the trip, we've got Chris and Sarah from Tread 4x4, Jeff and Sarah from Mickey Thompson Tyres, Mike from Trek Hardware, and Steve from Austrack Campers. We're pretty much southwest, around 200 kilometres out of Brisbane. It's right on the border with New South Wales, and we're told there's a fair bit of rock around. There should be a few water crossings considering the recent rains, and we're definitely looking forward to getting our tyres dirty.
Well, life off-road in Queensland. So COVID lockdowns are finished. Back up to Queensland to see our northern friends. And guess what? Raining. Absolutely raining. Worst weather ever. Should have stayed in Melbourne. Only the fact that we're free and we can get out. So let's see what the day's got in store.
Another trip, and we're heading to my favourite part of Queensland, and that's Stanthorpe. There's some great attractions and some amazing local fruits and produce to have. This trip, heading to Sundown National Park, one of my favourite parts to go wheeling. It's just good, beautiful, easy sort of four-wheel driving. A couple of little sections through there which are a little bit of a challenge for beautiful driving. Great views. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this trip. I cannot wait to get out in Sundown National Park 2022.
Arrived up here on Tuesday night from Melbourne, the long trek up to Queensland. Beauty about that, we started the morning, a little bit of a wine tasting. We got in, saw some of the apple juices in the orchards, and then headed into Sundown National Park.
The trek in there, once you go over the cattle grid, it's absolutely glorious. Beautiful open fields, plenty of kangaroos through there, cattle, and it's actually just a nice picturesque drive on the dirt road into the park.
We dropped the campers off by the park entrance. Number one reason is very shaly and rocky in this area, and we didn't want to do any unforeseen damage to the campers. Not saying that the campers won't do this kind of stuff, but in the rain, slippery conditions, it puts a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle, on the tow vehicle as well. So best to just leave the units there at the gates and come back and get them when we're finished. The last thing you want to do is break anything out here, because you are a long way from any assistance, and very expensive rescue it would be out here. In any conditions when you're forward driving, airing down your tyres is number one thing. It actually gives the tyre a bigger footprint. Bigger footprint enables more grip, more forward momentum. So always air down. Depending on what your vehicle is, depends on how much you want to deflate. The Cruiser behind me, 40 PSI standard road use. It's now sitting on just on 18 PSI all round. No slip problems, better footprint, and you're not putting great stresses on the drivetrain.
And then we headed downhill, nice little rocky drop-off, and into a creek. It was quite exciting actually, a nice little drive out in rock steps. It was very nice.
General rule of thumb is low gear, so first gear when you descend, and then as you come to the creek, you don't want to be hitting a creek crossing doing 30 or 40 kilometres an hour, especially fast flowing water. You want to be just pedaling in it. Once you get into the water, then accelerate.
Looking a little bit overgrown down through here, guys.
Nice little creek crossing down the bottom.
So Mike, that vehicle you're driving's pretty much been set up by you guys for touring, but it also handles this stuff very well.
Yeah, you know, the Rangers are so popular these days. There's so much being done to them, and we've got the Boss aluminium canopy. We've got the nice Ride Pro suspension underneath. I got the big Mickey Thompson BAJA Bosses, and it'll literally, anything we throw at it seems to handle it.
What do you think of the three most important accessories you've added to that vehicle to get it set up for touring and for this sort of stuff?
I suppose one of the crucial things is all our protection on it. So, you know, your bull bars and your side steps. Just with this here, you know, coming out of the river crossing, a lot of rocks and stuff, so it gives you a lot of protection on the sills and obviously your frontal impact. The Boss aluminium canopy is sensational for me because, as you know, I do a fair bit of cooking and stuff, so it's transformed the back of the vehicle. And by far, look, the best modification you're making is tyres. You've only got a handprint pretty much between each wheel, and that's what's going to save your life. Tyres and brakes.
It was a bit of fun, so I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing more.
That's a sensational piece of track. straight down into the creek and then up these rocky steps. Nothing big, nothing super hard, but just nice. Even tighter, more overgrown through here. This track's now taking us down, actually coming across a little tiny creek. We've got the BAJA Boss down at 20 psi and they are just going to eat these rocks. Street legal on 37-inch tyres, which is awesome. It gives us plenty of clearance.
Very good driving the Prado through, great with traction control, and the BAJA Boss, they just gripped up on everything and anything.
As you know, I'm a massive fan of the new BAJA Boss I've got on the car. What can you tell me about them? I heard there's some new ones coming out.
Yeah, the ones you have on are the BAJA Boss MT, an aggressive mud terrain, Powerply XD carcass, 50% more denier cord, so they're super strong, and the asymmetrical tread pattern and the open lug design. But as you would have felt on these tracks with the rocks, nothing stops it. The grip is amazing.
As the morning progressed, the next track that we got onto was a real ripper. Heavily eroded on one side, a lot of wheel lifting going on.
Just a touch of wheel lift, some nice holes through there. Definitely some good angles. In low range, you've got so much control of how you place this vehicle. People look at it and think it's top heavy, but it just walks through this stuff. It loves it. That's a fun little drive, guys. It's great to be able to come out to these areas, test yourself, test your vehicle, do it nice and safely. Now, Chris, can you make that look as good as I did?
I definitely can.
Chris in the tread car just absolutely getting that Patrol's wheels off the ground. Amazing note listening to it and just plenty of power.
We've released a new product called the BAJA Boss AT. We've put a set on Chris's Y62 Patrol to give them a test, and so far they are outstanding. They're passing every test we've thrown at it. That was actually great. A little bit slippery there in the middle, but traction control and the mighty BAJA Boss with the side biters got us through. Who needs diff locks?
Nervous? Don't need to be.
Mike from Trek Hardware threw the keys to Sarah from Mickey Thompson and said, hey, go have some fun.
That's it, now we've got to your right. Keep going, keep going. Sarah behind the wheel, never driven a four-wheel drive in her life. Absolute ripper. Got in beside her, she was all safe, gave her a lot of confidence.
All right. Slow a little bit. Yeah. Slow down, slow. Yeah, a little bit more.
When I said put your foot on the gas, I think she thought she was Mickey Thompson because she put her foot on the gas and got us straight up the top of the hill.
But good guidance, you followed instructions, you did really well.
Thank you.
You got to the top.
We're alive.
Awesome drive, well done.
Just about to do a little tricky section in the Austrack Landcruiser, so here we go. Should be a good ride, this one. A few holes, so we're going to get some wheel lift. So just about to drop into a big hole, and now we're just going to get a bit of wheel lift as we drop in. Over the top of it now. Back down here, another couple of holes. I'm going. Yep.
Punch it, come back and punch it.
Nice little run in the dry too. Be very, very slippery. Wet, slippery enough, but in the dry, should be pretty cool.
So as we're travelling through, the rain really started to pick up, and as it was starting to pick up, we saw this beautiful little opening. There's a couple of lines up over a rock, and then you had to go down sort of almost like a gorge style and then drive out and turn right out. Just a beautiful little open area, rock, water flowing. This is National Geographic out here. After all that, rain was picking up, we kept going through, and then we came to the deepest water crossing I think I've seen.
We could hear Jake's voice getting a little bit more worried, and we're thinking, oh, what's going on? And he goes, oh, it's getting a bit hairy up here. Next minute, he's got his shoes and socks off, and he's walking through one of the creek crossings. He's up to his waist. He's not a small chap. He's probably 6 foot. He's in a Toyota Hilux that Mickey Thompson just started to build. No snorkel. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to drive this. Simon goes, nah, we'll be right. Simon hopped in, took control of the car.
Simon put it through there and did a wonderful job, got it through. Did have me concerned first when he dropped in because it was very deep, but we got through on the other side quite safely.
I'd say he was very happy on the other side, it was still running. But that's the thing you do, you walk the creek crossings, you make sure they're okay, don't put yourself in danger. Plenty of vehicles there, plenty of ways to recover ourselves.
Kind of interesting for the Iveco to navigate through there, but Simon managed, so pretty good at that.
Oh yeah. I can't believe we just brought the Hilux through here.
After that, everyone went through and the water nearly went over the bonnet of the Patrol. It was definitely a lot of fun. When you're going through water crossing, you're obviously using the philosophy of steady momentum, not all the momentum. Keep a bow wave in front of you. If you're not sure, don't go. It's just that simple.
Very deep creek crossing that turned into a river, very rocky, but we got through on the other side quite safely.
Yeah, not a problem, we all got through it. But looking at some of the footage, I could see my lights were underwater at one stage.
After the deep crossing, we headed along a bit further and we wanted to get out as it was getting dark.
Just as everyone was having a whole lot of fun, the sun was going down, the rain was setting in, all people could think about was getting back to camp.
Bonza, big tree down.
Everyone else would have been able to get through, but then Simon with the Iveco, of course, had to stop everything and we had to chop it down.
Thank God, Mike, in his wisdom, brought along the chainsaw because no one else had thought of it. Brought it along, Simon got the chains out.
Simon was able to pull it back with the Iveco, so came in handy after all.
Got the tree off the track, cut it up, and that allowed us to continue on, even though it was dark.
What an adventure. Bit of teamwork, the right gear, use your brain, play it safe. We've got that tree out of the way, the track's clear, and push through the mighty Iveco.
Once that was finally all done, it was a bit more rainy and it did get dark pretty quickly. So we decided to end the night there, head on back.
We got all the campers hooked up, get everyone aired up, all the cars are nice and safe, ready to go.
We'll come back tomorrow and do some more tracks in the park.
It was my first time four-wheel driving and I really look forward to doing more if Jeff will let me through the Prado.
Waking up to a new day, the rain had eased. We were all dry and rested and eager to kick off a big day on the tracks with a big breakfast. We whipped out the Austrack kitchen. Chris got busy with his famous maple bacon pancakes and we all learnt a bit more about our location.
The caravan park is very spacious sites. You have powered side, unpowered sides, just about up to 70 sites in total. You have 8 mini cabins, which you can see in the background. You have 7 luxury units. They're on the other side of the property. Except from the Storm King Dam here, you have, of course, QLD National Park and Sundown National Park. Beautiful areas just to visit, bush countries, nice little roads. Good for four-wheel driving and all kinds of activities.
Primed for our second day on the tracks of Sundown, we headed out of the park, but not before picking up a couple of hitchhikers.
Along for the ride, we've got David and Anne in the back from White Rhino.
Unfortunately, yesterday we ran out of time, got dark with the rain, got quite heavy, a couple of big river crossings. So we've come back to Sundown National Park today and going to get out and about and do the tracks we didn't get to do yesterday.
Today was all about the long trip down to Rat Castle, but on the long trip down, lots of little obstacles on the way, lots of things to see.
A few little water crossings, and of course, Chris being the show-off, he was the biggest splash of the lot straight through. Simon tried, but yeah, didn't quite make it as good as Chris.
The drive in, you should always allow about 2.5 hours. You're driving over slow, rocky roads, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to go fast, just take this place in. Each way you look, it's just beautiful scenery.
Fantastic views, beautiful picturesque, rolling hills, absolutely lovely. And that's before you even get to the gate.
First thing in the morning, air down, and we were absolutely hanging to get in there. Chris had given us the tease the night before, just under darkness, as to these tracks that we were looking at. Still very heavily clouded, we've had a lot of rain. Down in Victoria, we got plenty of sunshine, so I don't know what happened here in Queensland. They call it the sunshine. Yeah, I don't know what they call it. Rainy state, that's the one.
It's been raining again, which is making it a little bit slippery in a few spots, but the terrain is fantastic, and you're having a go in the Prado.
Yeah, second time driving, and it's really fun. I'm enjoying it.
Today, I'm actually going to jump in the passenger seat and let young Sarah have a go and give her a bit of coaching on some of the tracks, and let's see how she goes.
It's amazing what you can learn when you're actually in the driver's seat.
I mean, that's the good part about it, is coming along and learning and being in with someone who's done it before, a bit of experience.
Well, what are we in? Low range?
Low range, not low range.
And only one diff lock, so it's not serious yet.
It's not serious yet.
Not serious yet.
So Steve, on this trip we've got the Tanami X11 and an X13. Can you tell me the difference between the two, please?
Yeah, X11 is basically a bedroom and a full ensuite, shower and toilet. But the only thing that's different really between the 13 and the 11 is that the 13 has a bench seat and it's an extra 2 foot. But it still has all the same creature comforts, same suspension setup, same all-round double strength chassis. It's both very quick to set up. You pull up at your campsite, pull the back out, you're all set up in 10 minutes. And again, 10 minutes to pack away and you're on your way home.
You're climbing, climbing, climbing. All of a sudden, then steep descents.
Okay, a bit of a rocky outcrop here. Okay, to your right. You've got a line there on that edge. Beautiful. Up you go. Perfect. And it's amazing how much these tyres are gripping. You get to a point and you think, oh, we're not going to make it over that rock, but it just walks straight up. Doing really well. I think I'll just sit back for the rest of the trip and you can drive.
Rude.
You'll be my chauffeur.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right. About time though, I think.
We did then come along a fallen tree, and with the wind that's been around the last 2 days, well, we did expect this.
We'd make light work of this tree, and there's plenty more off-road adventure beyond it. But we're saving all that for next week. So join us then for more tracks and action from the Sundown National Park in Queensland.